Coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, it's senior night here at Dick Glass Stadium, and the Mountaineers are beginning to wrap up their season as others begin to wrap up their career. I'm Sean Loudermilk, and I'll have that story next.
Coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, one sophomore infielder was given a big opportunity for his country's national team. I'm Christian Acosta, and that's coming up next.
Up next on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll give you an inside look at what went down during the WVU charity exhibition game against Bowling Green. I'm Stephen Bergman. Stay tuned. Mountaineer Playbook is straight ahead.
As fall sports are ending and postseason positioning is taking shape, we take a look at which West Virginia teams are losing some key players and will need to rebuild next year. I'm Bailey Tucker.
And I'm Ben Mackey. Some WVU athletes are stepping into new roles outside of their collegiate teams, and others are looking to showcase their skills on a bigger stage.
These stories and more coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, a sports magazine show produced by Sport and Adventure Media students right here at the Reed College of Media at West Virginia University.
The WVU men's soccer team did not have the season they ultimately hoped for this year. Ranked as high as 6th in the nation during the preseason and 1 year removed from their NCAA tournament appearance under Coach Dan Stratford. While they may not have lived up to expectations, they still have a lot to celebrate.
That's right, Ben, and with 7 seniors graduating this season, you can imagine the emotional send-off last Thursday night as those 7 players were honored in front of fans as they defended the Lesk one last time.
Sean Loudermilk has more on their final regular season match wearing the gold and blue on home turf.
It's senior night in Morgantown as the Mountaineers defended the Lesk one last time this season against the Georgia State Panthers. WVU capped off their 2022 regular season at home with a 3-2 victory on Sunday afternoon. The Mountaineers jumped ahead early with a goal from Ryan Crooks in the 2nd minute, but the Panthers answered back in just 19 seconds. Coach Dan Stratford says that this victory was all about mentality.
The message at halftime was we saw enough to know that we felt as though we would be the better footballing team with respect to Georgia State because they are a difficult team to play. And it just came down to mentality. It came down to the choice at that point.
Last season, the Mountaineers graduated 5 seniors, including goalkeeper Stephen Tukeski. This season, Mountaineers have 7 seniors on the squad that they honored before the game.
Of the 7 seniors recognized, 4 are West Virginia natives, but one in particular has a special connection to this team and to Coach Stratford. Senior forward Adam Burchell won a Division II national championship with Coach Stratford back in 2019 at the University of Charleston and followed in his footsteps to the gold and the blue. Burchell says that ending on a win is nice, but the feeling is bittersweet.
Definitely an emotional one. Most importantly, we got a win. I didn't want to end here with a loss. That would have made it even worse. But yeah, definitely an emotional one. It's my 5th year of playing now. 2nd year here, and it's been an unbelievable ride.
The Mountaineers capped their season off with a road trip against Georgia Southern after a successful final defense of the Lesk. Their time here may be done, but this magnificent 7 got the same country roads one last time. I'm Sean Loudermilk, reporting for Mountaineer Playbook.
The men's soccer team went on to defeat Georgia Southern 3-1.
They ended the 2022 regular season with a record of 6-6-4, and they will head to Kentucky to play in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament this week.
We have some WVU athletes finishing their collegiate careers, and they're hoping to end on a high note, Ben.
Yeah, that's right, Bailey. It's been a roller coaster ride of emotions as the volleyball team is saying goodbye to their veteran players this school year.
And one player is a standout and will definitely be missed. Adrienne L. has spent 3 seasons donning the gold and blue, but like every college athlete, her career must also come to an end.
Since the 3rd grade, Adrienne L. has been playing volleyball, but her introduction to volleyball was long before then. Adrienne's mother, Crystal, has been coaching since before Adrienne was born.
She's been there like every step of the way. She's always kind of my mom and coach on the sidelines, so after games it's, good job, you did good, and then we get down to talking strategy, the X's and the O's.
Elle grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, where she shined on the court for all to see. WVU's head volleyball coach Reed Sunahara was coaching at the University of Cincinnati at the time and says Elle was certainly one to watch.
She had committed to Florida State when she was young, really young.
Elle decided to head south to Florida State University to continue her career at a collegiate level. There, she was a setter for the Seminoles for 2 seasons.
Yeah, I learned a lot of life lessons at Florida State on and off the court. I grew, had to become very independent, being that far away from home and being a setter and learning that role at the higher level. So learned a lot of good things on the court, learned a lot about myself, and I think that's helped shape me into the person I am today.
Before the 2020 season, Elle decided to transfer elsewhere. After talking with Coach Sunahara, she decided WVU would be the best fit.
I had a few options, and Reed, again, I had known him from Cincinnati and heard about him. So when he called and we talked, everything sounded really good, and he believed in my abilities and was really excited for what I could bring to this program.
Since joining the WVU squad, Elle has tallied 624 kills, 230 assists, and 50 service aces. And with the season still ongoing, those stats are bound to increase. Elle says that her college career coming to an end is very bittersweet, and she will leave Morgantown with so many rich memories.
I think the one that first comes to mind is obviously making the tournament last year. It was such an important season for us as a program, and to be a part of that and the first time to go to the tournament is just something I'll never forget, and working really hard last year with all those girls who had dreamed of it for their 4 years to get it on their senior year was really cool.
As Elle leads the team in offensive points with nearly 300 this season, the WVU volleyball program will have to reshape once she's gone. We wish the team the best of luck in the future.
Playing a Division I sport for the Mountaineers is a challenge on its own, Bailey. But playing for your country's national team, it's even bigger.
What an honor this young WVU baseball player had to represent his family outside the United States. Chris Tranacosta tells us which player has roots in Pakistan.
Alex Khan is a sophomore infielder for the Mountaineer baseball team. He was recently given the opportunity to play for Team Pakistan in their attempt to qualify for the World Baseball Classic.
It was pretty unbelievable just to be there and represent my father's country, and then just play against guys from Nicaragua that have Major League Baseball experience, whether it be single A, double A, triple A.
Unfortunately for Alex and Team Pakistan, their run at the World Baseball Classic came to an end after 2 losses to Nicaragua and Argentina. But it was still a very special experience to his family, specifically his father, who is the reason he can play for Team Pakistan at all.
What a feeling. Just felt blessed and, profound, humbleness, basically, that opportunity that God has provided them, and it was an amazing feeling.
Alex appeared in 33 games last season and started 3 of them. He was able to only achieve 3 hits, but he hopes that this experience with Team Pakistan will help him have a successful 2023 campaign.
It was a great experience, and I'm optimistic about the future because we have hopefully some events coming up with the Olympics and stuff. But yeah, I think I'm ready to roll here in Morgantown, ready to get the spring season going.
Regardless of what happens in the 2023 season, though, Alex will always be able to remember the impact that he had in his family by being a part of his country's team.
For Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Chris Tranacosta.
You know, Ben, I find this story truly remarkable. I can only imagine the pressure and honor of both.
And after starting only 3 games as a freshman for the Mountaineers, Khan is hoping to play more of a role in the field and in the lineup after the transfer of infielder Mikey Kluska to Richmond.
Speaking of transfers, the West Virginia men's basketball team is beginning its season with 7 new players. 6 of them are transfers and 1 is an incoming freshman. And then there's Emmett Matthews, a fan favorite who left and now he's back.
And let's not forget about Jose Perez, who transferred from Manhattan just last weekend. It'll be interesting to see how this team does together. Reporter Stephen Bergman covered its first exhibition game against Bowling Green, with nearly 10,000 fans looking on.
Bob Huggins and the Mountaineer basketball team went up against the Bowling Green Falcons this past Friday, October 28th, in an exhibition charity game. The Mountaineers came out victorious with a final score of 73-57. WVU head coach Bob Huggins wanted to make sure that this game got the fans on their feet as the season opener is creeping up.
I wanted to make sure that we played well enough to at least get the fans a little bit excited about our teams. So they deserve that.
The 2022-23 Mountaineers have been itching to play an opponent publicly, even though their blue and gold game was just 2 weeks ago. That was just an inter-squad scrimmage. So Bowling Green is the first opponent that the WVU Mountaineers will get to take a crack at here in the Coliseum. As your West Virginia Mountaineers came out on top, they were led by Eric Stevenson, who had a double-double with 18 points and 10 rebounds, while Emmett Matthews caught fire in the second half, finishing with 14 points for the blue and gold.
We were decent. We got a lot of things that we need to work on, but I think overall the team's energy and the team's mood was pretty good. We got a lot to work on going into opening week, but I think we'll be ready.
The end result does not count as an official win for WVU, as it was just an exhibition. And important to note, it was also a fundraiser for the great cause that is the Norma May Huggins Cancer Endowment Fund. WVU will look to carry on their momentum against Mount St. Mary's on November 7th in their home opener. This is Stephen Bergman reporting for Mountaineer Playbook.
It's been several weeks since WVU's worst performance of the Neil Brown era in a lopsided 48-10 beatdown in Lubbock.
There were probably 0 positive takeaways from that game, but the Mountaineer football team responded with effort and resilience on Saturday, October 29th. Football reporter MJ Gorley joins us now with more. MJ.
Ben, Bailey, it was a tale of two halves for West Virginia playing against the number 7 TCU-ranked Horned Frogs. The Mountaineers had a disappointing start to the season, but the team has been strong when playing on their home turf, losing to only Kansas, but that was until they played the Horned Frogs. The rockin' homecoming crowd of over 50,000 WVU fans were stoked with excitement as kickoff approached. With home field advantage and hundreds of alumni fans back in the stands, the football team did their best to hold down the Horned Frogs offense, but they didn't quite succeed. Throughout the first half of Saturday's game, the Mountaineers kept it tied until giving up a touchdown, allowing TCU to pull ahead in the last 30 seconds before halftime. However, coming out of the locker room, they were fired up and ready to play, not allowing TCU to score at all in the third quarter. Moving to the fourth quarter, West Virginia had the momentum after Reese Smith made an amazing diving play to score the touchdown and pull us within 3 points of the Horned Frogs. But in the end, it simply wasn't enough after we turned it over on downs and allowed TCU to score another touchdown in the last 20 seconds to seal the deal. Overall, the Mountaineers put up a good fight, and the game ended with a score of 41-31.
Thanks, MJ. The women's soccer team has just left for the Big 12 tournament, and we'll take a look at what key component they have on their squad to help them kick the competition.
And we'll take you to a non-traditional sport that uses your mind to strategize and win.
Coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, it may not be Geno Smith, Stedman Bailey, or Tavon Austin, but there's a new Big 3 in Morgantown, and they're looking to make a difference on this year's WVU men's golf squad. I'm Bryce O'Leary. Stay tuned. Mountaineer Playbook is straight ahead.
Coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you how WVU esports is starting to make a name for themselves. I'm Alex Johnson. I'll have that story next.
Quiet and ready in control room. 3, 2, 1. Feet in bumper.
WVU News is local, in-depth, and always on the move for you. It's always on YouTube, on the web, and on the Reed College of Media website. A national first-place Emmy Award-winning college newscast, taped at the Waterfront Studio at West Virginia University. Stay in the know, stay connected, watch WVU News.
With the collegiate golf season in full swing, it's time for the stars of the WVU men's team to step up in a big way.
Bryce O'Leary takes a look at how some of these golfers performed at the Big 12 Match Play Championships in Hockley, Texas.
Most teams are lucky if they can have a star player to lean on in big moments, and fortunately for the WVU men's golf team, they have 3. Sophomore Todd Duncan, junior Jackson Davenport, and senior Trent Tipton have been stellar all season, and they continued their success at the Big 12 Match Play Championships in Hockley, Texas.
Just doing the things that we've asked them to do. Again, we threw a lot of new stuff at them. This feels like a brand new program.
Duncan started off the tournament with a win over Oklahoma's Jake Holbrook, where he never trailed at any point in the match. He also ended the tournament on a good note as he defeated Iowa State's Luke Gutschewski in comfortable fashion.
It's just a big jump, from high school golf in West Virginia to playing in the Big 12. It's a big jump, so I think he kind of absorbed everything and then came back with a different mindset.
In the 2 spot, Davenport got off to a bit of a slow start with a loss on day 1. However, he responded with a blowout win over his 12th-ranked Oklahoma State opponent, and another big victory on the final day against Baylor's Jonas Appel. Not to be outdone, senior leader Trent Tipton also picked up victories against the highly ranked Cowboy and Baylor Bears opponents. This 3-headed monster of Duncan, Davenport, and Tipton is one of the best the school has had to offer since Geno Smith, Tavon Austin, and Stedman Bailey were carving up defenses back in 2012. And that's why I cover golf. Much like that dynamic football trio, the big 3 for this WVU men's golf squad will have to continue to lead the way as the season progresses. This is Bryce O'Leary reporting for Mountaineer Playbook.
The WVU women's soccer team is preparing for the Big 12 tournament. The Mountaineers will face 5th seed Oklahoma State Cowgirls in the quarterfinals in Round Rock, Texas.
That's right, they'll certainly need to have a win-in-advance mentality. Natalie Andreev joins us now in studio to tell us who our next player of the week will be. Natalie.
Thanks, Ben. Bailey, I'm pleased to say that the shining star this week is the one who leads their team in goals this season. Junior midfielder AJ Rodriguez and I discussed her first career brace to help the team propel over the Oklahoma Sooners and her ability to impact the team this season and into the postseason.
After a disappointing loss to Texas in penalty kicks in the Big 12 tournament last November, the West Virginia women's soccer team is looking to this postseason to continue to carry their momentum from the end of the regular season. Although the last 2 seasons did not go as the Mountaineers wanted, junior midfielder AJ Rodriguez has improved from season to season and is impacting the team on the field in a positive way.
I think all the players around me bring out a lot in me, and I would say that the team impacts me. If it weren't for them to push me every day, wouldn't be the player I am today.
Rodriguez has started in all 18 regular season matches so far, as well as tallying over 1,000 minutes on the field this season.
Rodriguez hopes to continue to help the team improve on the pitch throughout the entirety of the postseason, especially with her team leading 5 goals in the regular season.
And the Mountaineers have tied it.
Always have my team's back. They have mine and I have theirs, and that's how it's always going to be. So I think just doing everything for the team.
Rodriguez and the rest of her team know that they have a lot to prove in the postseason, and they look to make their mark and show that they are capable of winning.
Once they see how the Big 12 tournament wraps up, the Mountaineers will await their fate as they no doubt will tune into the College Cup Selection Show on November 7th. Ben, Bailey, back to you.
Thanks, Natalie. Bailey, did you know that students are getting college scholarships to play video games?
I did know that, Ben. And students here at WVU have already started competing in virtual esports venues against other colleges and collecting the big money. Here's reporter Alex Johnson to tell us more about WVU's Valorant team.
Whenever you guys are ready.
Esports is the next up-and-coming sport. Even though many people don't consider playing video games very athletic or competitive, esports athletes put in an average of 15 to 20 hours a week of practice and 3 matches. That doesn't count the college classes they take on top of the hours they train to perfect their craft.
So practicing wise, right now, we are only doing like 2 times out of the week because we have Monday, Wednesday, and that's our game days. And then we're practicing Tuesday, Thursdays, and then Fridays as well. And those practices last around like 4 hours.
This year's starting roster consists of 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and 1 junior. Tran is a facilitator of the team, making sure his teammates have the utility they need to defend and attack to win the game.
With my character, like Smokes just cuts out different lanes that my team doesn't have to worry about until like it goes down, basically.
The new team has started off strong this season with a record of 13 wins and 2 losses. They took on George Mason tonight, winning the series 2 maps to 3. They head into their first LAN competition this weekend, hoping to win it all. By winning these esports events, the players and teams can win tens of thousands of dollars, potential items, and sponsorships like Red Bull and Razer. This allows for the players to get paid while attending college.
We go and win Red Bull. In general, it wins big for the school itself, for WVU, because Red Bull would basically build us a whole arena, like an esports arena, which is cool. We don't have to pay a dime.
The squad went undefeated over the weekend, not dropping a single map, to win their first LAN competition. The team won just under $5,000, sponsored by Red Bull. Reporting from Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Alex Johnson.
Really cool stuff, but Bailey, when I first got my first gamer tag on my Xbox 360, I thought it was so cool. Now, not so much.
Well, go ahead and share it with us, Ben.
It was Hurricane Ben 7. What was yours?
No joke, Tropical Storm Bailey. But coming up, we'll tell you about an event that happened in Morgantown this past weekend that allowed people to throw things off a roof legally. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
I'm Ben Mackey, and coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll sit down with the 68th Mountaineer, Mary Roush. Do I look good in this?
That answer and more coming up.
Coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you how a 2-year hiatus left kids from around West Virginia dreaming of dropping pumpkins. I'm Pat Strong, and I'll have that story next.
West Virginia University is a place where learning is an adventure, inside and outside. You'll become an innovator, a boundary breaker, an earth shaker. Choose your circle from 30,000 fellow Mountaineers, and choose your path from hundreds of majors and minors. In a community that feels small, and you'll use this to get to class. You'll have room to find your people, your passions, and your purpose. Because we're a place where everyone fits. This is WVU. This is home.
The Mountaineer mascot is the most beloved of all West Virginia University traditions, and it symbolizes the proud and rich heritage of the Mountain State and its people.
And this year's Mountaineer is Mary Roush. She's the 3rd female in 90 years to don the buckskins and carry the rifle as the 68th Mountaineer mascot. Here's an inside look at Mary's journey and the tradition behind this iconic figure. WVU sophomore Mary Roush knew she wanted to be the Mountaineer the second she stepped foot on campus.
Whenever I was in high school and I decided that WVU was going to be the college for me, literally one of my friends said, "Hey, you should be the Mountaineer." And I, growing up a WVU fan, always seeing the Mountaineer, I just kind of realized like, oh yeah, maybe I should. By being on campus, knowing that I was finally a student, I just got so invested and involved in the culture of WVU that I absolutely knew I wanted to be the Mountaineer. I had no doubts.
Natalie Tennant became the first female Mountaineer in 1990, and nearly 2 decades later, Rebecca Durst became the second. To put this into perspective, Roush becomes just the 3rd female Mountaineer since 1934, when the first official Mountaineer was selected. While becoming the Mountaineer was a dream come true, Mary has used Tennant and Durst as sources of encouragement. And because Tennant was able to break the stereotype that the Mountaineer has to be a male, she feels like she can now be herself.
If it wasn't for Natalie, if it wasn't for Rebecca, if they weren't the Mountaineer, then I don't think I would have been, because I don't know if I would have had the courage to be the first. And so that's why I'm very, very grateful for their journey.
Even though it can be challenging at times, being the figurehead of an entire state is something Mary relishes.
It's the biggest honor, and I always say being the Mountaineer is the biggest honor any West Virginian will ever have in their life, and I truly am honored. It means more to me now than it did then, just because I've been able to, live it.
The most important thing about Mary Roush? Well, she can tell you in her own words.
I'm a proud West Virginian.
You know, Bailey, what most people don't know is that the Mountaineer doesn't just show up to games. They attend more than 250 events every year, appearing at schools, hospitals, civic organizations, and even more.
I'll do you one better, Ben. Mary Roush is our own Reed College of Media student. We wish her well as the newest Mountaineer.
The WVU Statler College of Engineering hosted its 33rd annual Pumpkin Drop last Friday and crowned a winner that was carefully judged based off of a few different categories.
The Pumpkin Drop brings in STEM teams of elementary, middle school, and high schoolers from across West Virginia to compete and hone skills of ingenuity. Reporter Pat Strong has the story.
Here it comes.
After a 2-year hiatus, the WVU Pumpkin Drop returned to Morgantown last Friday. And with competitors having to wait for so long to engage in the Statler Engineering College tradition once again, the excitement over kids learning and engaging in STEM was greater than ever.
Yeah, it's an impressive feat to accomplish ultimately, and it's really good to see young kids encouraged to pursue the STEM and encouraged to have these engineering abilities, and from a young age and to cultivate that.
Building a pumpkin preserving contraption is no walk in the park, and winning the event is a notoriously difficult feat. But for some, the learning experience of competing, especially here at WVU, was everything they were looking for.
One of my favorite things about coming out here for STEM is that I'd kind of like to go to West Virginia University. I feel like it's so local for me. And just here I get a bit of an experience of what it's like around the campus here.
In total, hundreds of teams from around the region flocked to Morgantown for a chance at the elusive title of Pumpkin Drop Champion.
Some of the students are really innovative and smart. Some of the coolest contraptions I'd say has been the ones with the parachutes. Really utilizing the drag force.
When a Halloween tradition is this big, coming out on the winning side against hundreds of opponents has got to feel good. This is Pat Strong reporting for Mountaineer Playbook.
I've never attended, but it seems like an awesome event for families in the area and definitely a good idea for a Halloween-themed night.
I agree, Ben, and the winning team was homeschool team number 15, as its pumpkin just hit 2 feet 6 inches from the target, and they got to split the top prize of $100. Think of all the Qdoba burritos. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Mountaineer Playbook. I'm Bailey Tucker.
$100 to homeschool team number 15. I'm Ben Mackey. You can visit us online on our website or watch us statewide on Sundays at 6:30 p.m. on West Virginia Public Broadcasting. Thanks for watching Mountaineer Playbook.